name is Alicia Shapiro with AInews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with Alex Vayner, the Chief Growth Officer at SparkBeyond, a leader in AI-driven optimization solutions for enterprise operations. With over 2 decades of experience and a proven track record in delivering advanced AI solutions to Fortune 500 companies, Alex has played a pivotal role in driving growth for business-to-business SaaS companies across the globe. SparkBeyond's flagship platform, Always Optimized, uses a proprietary hypothesis engine technology and advanced LLMs to help organizations continuously improve key performance indicators such as customer retention, manufacturing throughput, and supply chain efficiency. By seamlessly integrating AI-powered insights into daily operations, SparkBeyond is reshaping how businesses approach optimization and decision-making. In today's interview, we'll explore the power of SparkBeyond's Always Optimized platform, discuss how AI is augmenting but maybe not replacing professional roles, and talk about how proper AI governance can give businesses a competitive edge. Alex will also share his views on importance of transparency and explainability in AI, SparkBeyond's innovative use of agentic AI workflows, and a preview of SparkBeyond's significant upcoming launch. So thank you for joining us today, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me, Alicia. And that's a pleasure to be on AI News.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad to have you here. So SparkBeyond's Always Optimized platform is often described as a game changer when it comes to continuously improving key business KPIs. For anyone who may not be familiar, can you walk us through what that Always Optimized platform is and how it changes the way companies approach optimization?
Sure, maybe even to take a step back to get a perspective on the Gen AI revolution that's been taking place for the last 2 years. I think that most people would agree that enterprises have made tremendous strides in working with LLMs. They figured out the security feature. So now your customer data and your own source code is no longer just randomly showing up online.
Right.
Most of the companies actually solved hallucination problems that were a major plague on Gen AI and LLM models in the early days. And now they're even enhancing the knowledge that the LLMs have in their enterprises through RAG, right? Retrieval augmented generation. And that's a very powerful paradigm. But there's still a critical piece missing, and that's what we're there to fill. Most enterprises are still not effectively working with structured data. And structured data, as we know, that is the lifeblood of your business. That's what drives revenue. That's what drives profits. That's what drives growth. And so SparkBeyond's Always Optimized platform fills that gap and allows you to connect the potential of AI to the reality of your business and to really work on optimizing KPIs that drive business performance. So a little bit about how that works. We have a platform, our proprietary hypothesis engine in the platform, that combines the advanced large language models and structured data insights to continuously improve your KPIs. So unlike the traditional AI models that maybe analyze patterns in the past, we actually generate millions and millions, literally hundreds of millions of hypotheses.
Wow.
And we test those hypotheses against a particular KPI, and then reduce that hypothesis space to maybe 100, 200 variables that are the most predictive features. So essentially, this flips data science on its head. You really are boiling the ocean. And because of that, we often find that our algorithm finds hidden drivers that traditional machine learning models miss.
Wow.
And really, the paradigm shift is that we don't just provide recommendations, right? The platform creates this continuous feedback loop, and that feedback loop allows you to improve iteratively and integrate all of your existing business workflows and make AI-powered optimizations part of your daily operations. So maybe just to give you a real-world example, we were working with a major retail bank. One of our core sectors and industries that we work with is banking. And they were struggling with a common problem, which is customer churn. And despite numerous attempts by the existing data science team, it still kept being a problem. So when we approached them and we ran the Always Optimized platform, we discovered something which is not unusual for us, but usual for clients, a
Yeah.
unexpected correlation. And the correlation that we discovered was that there is a relationship between the frequency of updating the mobile app for the bank by the customers and their retention. So as you imagine, the customers that didn't update their mobile apps as frequently and as rigorously as they could have and should have actually were found to be leaving the bank more frequently than the ones that did. So
Wow.
that's, you would never think that would be, as a data scientist doing feature engineering, you would never think, oh, like I should look at the data about how frequently our customers are updating their apps, because you can actually see that, right? You own the app as the bank. And it was incredible. They found that the customers who updated their app were more than 30% likely to stay than the customers who didn't. And of course, the solution is pretty simple. You write campaigns that go to specific customers that are less likely to be responsive and remind them to update their applications. And they were actually able to reduce their churn by more than 15% and increase their customer lifetime value as well. So that's just to give the audience a more tangible feel for how the platform really works and why the hypothesis engine can discover drivers that a traditional data science team writing machine learning code would never discover on their own.
That's so powerful to have those insights most people wouldn't think. And then to have it be beneficial as well. That's great. But you were talking about needing structured data and everything. What if someone doesn't have structured data? Are you able to help them structure it, or do they have to just do that before they come to you?
So structured data exists by default as structured. So it's usually traditionally the structured data is, for example, transaction data from your customers. Structured just means that it is stored in a database, typically as a table with rows and columns,
Mhm.
and that creates the structure. And transaction data, customer data, usually more often than not comes in a very structured form by default.
Okay.
Your structured data is going to be structured. It's usually what happens is when you're unstructured data, before the advancements of LLMs, what we would often do with unstructured data, we would actually try to structure it in order to apply machine learning models on it and reveal insights. And now large language models do an outstanding job working with text. And that's one of the most powerful paradigm shifts. But the problem is that they, again, don't work so well with structured data elements. There are some advancements that allow you to use LLMs, but they don't do it very well.
Okay.
So this is where, again, SparkBeyond platform, I think, is one of the first leaders in this field that allows you to integrate machine learning analysis of structured data and LLMs and their powerful reasoning and their powerful knowledge of everything else about the world and bring that together to help you optimize a KPI to help you improve your operations.
Okay, that makes more sense. And can you talk a little bit more about your always optimized agent platform? I know you're innovating with this and creating, like you said, a paradigm shift with how businesses can work with this platform. But can you talk a little bit more about how it works and how you see agentic AI evolving and what role you think it'll play in shaping future business operations?
Sure. So agentic AI is, I would say, a huge wave that's been hitting us for maybe a year at most.
Yeah.
And it's a big change from the passive tools to really proactive AI partners. That's what they are, agents, right? The idea is to have agents continuously work together, not just one agent, but multiple agents, which is a
Right.
whole new theme in the world, and together optimize business processes. And unlike standard automation, these agents adapt their strategies based on changing conditions and their learning patterns. And so SparkBeyond's role in this evolution, or maybe even revolution, is we're actually creating a next generation of our platform, the Always Optimized platform, and it is geared towards the agent builders. The idea is to help agent builders build more robust, more effective, agents and actually optimize the agents. So agents themselves can also become inefficient because the environment in which they operate changes. The data can change, the business models and revenue models can change, and that fundamentally should change how an agent engages, even if they're doing something like running standard operating procedures. And this is the next generation. It's the multi-agent conversation, and also making agents capable again of working with not just unstructured data, but structured data. Right now, the agents that I see mostly in the market, they're like a super duper virtual assistant, or sometimes people call it an intern. Like it's like having an intern who can do
Yeah.
really cool stuff. But the agent of the future is not just a virtual assistant or an intern. An agent of the future is a data scientist, is an analyst, is a marketing manager. And that's what the next wave, agentic AI, is going to be. And we are gearing up to be really partners with agent builders and empowering them. And really, the bet that I think we're making is that there'll be agent builders that are dedicated agent builders. That is what they do. And there are some companies, I think that I've just met the CEO of a company called Aria. They're doing just pure agent building. But we also believe that systems integrators that have long-term relationships with their clients, that really know their business, really understand their data, are going to get very seriously involved in the agentic space. And they're going to start building agents. And the idea is that SparkBeyond is going to be there to partner with them. We already partner with them to implement the core always optimized platform. And the idea is to offer them tools and frameworks to ensure that the agents that they're building are making the best possible decisions on real-time data and given the business context that they operate in. And so far, the go-to-market for us is with systems integrators, and it's been really fantastic. I think it's a really nice fit for a software company like ours that connects with a partner. And I think that I've actually written an article on this topic on partnerships. I think that's one of the things that's going to change in the world of technology, is that no longer is it possible for one technology operator to bring all of the value to a client. And you're going to have software companies work with systems integrators, work with consulting companies, work with digital agencies, and each player will have their role. And we're excited about helping our SI partners actually become better partners for their clients. To me, that is the future of business. And we envision that optimized agents will really handle most of the basic routines. They will free up humans to do strategic work, to do creative work, and the mundane work will be left to the bots.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Especially the clients that come to your platform, the agent builders that use your platform. I imagine they would want to use yours over others because of the hypothesis technology. I just can't imagine anybody else doing as well as your company has with that. It's
We would
I
like
love
to
that
we would
aspect.
like to think that is the case as well. There are a few others that are playing in this game, but I don't think that distinction for us is the core technology. We've been developing it for 10 years, and we've had a very long-term partnership with McKinsey for most of the time. Now we have partnerships with many systems integrators, and we love working with them. And the partnerships and the experience have given us a chance to really battle test the technology,
Yeah.
refine the algorithms. And I think that's given us a lead in the race for building really powerful optimization techniques, and in particularly in helping your LLM to really understand and therefore optimize your business, which I just don't think that they're doing today for the most part.
And I know one of the concerns that businesses often have with AI-driven decisions is being able to trust the AI, especially if it's not clear why AI made a certain call or not. So, how does Spark Beyond address the challenge of that and making sure that the insights your platform delivers are transparent and explainable?
Great question. And it's actually been a really major point of concern and constraint, especially for highly regulated industries where you
Right.
need to understand why you're making certain decisions. Now, if you take a step back, Machine learning has been going through a tremendous evolution. And a big part of machine learning overall is called deep learning, neural networks.
Yeah.
And the fundamental premise within neural networks is that they're a black box. You can have fantastic results, but you won't know why you're producing the results you're producing. In fact, LLMs are a subset of neural networks. That is the structure of an LLM. And the differentiation for us is that our hypothesis engine is different than a traditional black box machine learning model. It generates these hypotheses that are fundamental facts, and they're generated in plain language. And it says this is something that drives your KPI. And then you test them against the data, and you basically present validated insights about what drives your business. And every recommendation comes with a clear explanation of this is the hypothesis, this is the data that supports it, and this is the expected impact that it should make. We believe fundamentally that trust in AI comes from complete transparency, visibility in how conclusions are reached. And a platform needs to allow users to explore the full reasoning path, right? From the initial hypothesis all the way down to the recommendations. So you can trace every single insight back to the data source and back to the understanding of the mathematical relationships between data elements. The way I think about trust, I think of trust in three pillars. One is, of course, because I'm a data scientist myself, is statistical validation. So every insight has to be backed up by statistical testing. Number two is business relevance. We want recommendations that drive measurable outcomes. That means business contextualization. And then the last piece is actionability. What's the point of a recommendation if you can't take an action on it? So this is the troika, if you will, of trust. And that's what we believe in very strongly at SparkBeyond.
People can trust your platform then because you provide that citations and an explanation of where the
Yeah, it's a little
recommendations
bit,
are coming from.
it's an homage to Ronald Reagan's trust but verify. This
Oh, I
is,
like that.
you
Yeah.
trust, you can verify because you can follow the path and you understand the drivers. And this is important for sure in the highly regulated environments like financial services and banking, of course, insurance,
Yeah.
but it's also important in just traditional business. You want to feel empowered and you want to feel connected to the business decision you make. And it's very hard to do that when you don't understand why you're making the decision.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's been so much talk about AI replacing jobs, but SparkBeyond seems to be focused more on AI augmenting professional roles. How do you see AI transforming the way people work, particularly when it comes to operations and decision making, without replacing the human element?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot. Maybe I would take even a step to say in a humbling way that I don't know if anybody knows like what the final story looks like, and especially if we go 10, 20 years forward. I don't know if you're familiar with Ray Kurzweil.
Oh, yeah.
He's created this concept of the law of accelerating returns, and it's the idea that our innovation is accelerating and it continues to accelerate. And so that's why I think it's very hard to predict. For sure, it's far beyond. The most powerful formula is AI plus HI, right? Human intelligence and artificial intelligence. So the platform fundamentally at its core is designed to enhance human creativity and judgment. It doesn't tell you like this is something you should do, don't think. It tells you here's some ideas. We don't want to replace the human who's making the decisions. It's funny that Microsoft coined the idea of co-pilot because it has the co-pilot, but it really is. It shouldn't be an autopilot. It should be a co-pilot. Like you're in the plane and there's another pilot and it's you're human and the other pilot is AI. So it's a pretty clever way. It's too bad that it's taken.
Yeah.
But it really is how one should think about AI. It's about elevating human capabilities, about freeing professionals from mundane tasks to enable them to do creative tasks, to focus on strategic thinking, to focus on problem solving, not to get lost in data analysis and get to data paralysis and analysis paralysis. And for that, you need transparent reasoning so that humans can make the final call. When you have, again, the black box, it's very hard to say, what am I deciding? I don't have any pros and cons to consider. I just have
Yeah,
a recommendation and I don't understand why.
I think you're spot on. Yeah.
And maybe just to give you an example of how that showed up for us in a
Oh, yeah.
project, right? So we had a manufacturing client, and the engineers for this manufacturing company, they partner with our AI platform, and they wanted to redesign their production flows in a pretty complex automotive factory setting. And so we analyzed years of production data, machine performance logs, supply chain information, and basically, the platform suggested, again, counterintuitively, some very interesting changes to the assembly line layout.
Oh,
And initially, they were skeptical, the engineers. They've been doing this for decades, and here's AI telling them this is what you should do. So they actually did something really clever. They decided we're going to test these recommendations in a digital twin environment. So a digital twin is just a digital replica of the factory environment, and they saw incredible results, more than 30% improvement in throughput,
wow.
significant reduction in energy consumption, and decrease in defect rates. And all of that came through this, again, hidden, counterintuitive pattern that was found by the platform that a traditional engineer with the knowledge of the process may not think about, but then because it came with an understanding, then you can actually test it, and then you can see, it does show improvements, and then you have a choice in implementing it. And that's why we often start with a very limited POC prototype. We take a subset of the full problem. We show that we can demonstrate real business results, and that gives us the runway to actually do the full implementation.
That 30%, that's huge. And it's so cool that AI could find it versus humans who might be like, oh, we've done this way forever and we're not going to change it. That's pretty
That's
cool.
right.
And for companies who are just starting out with AI or maybe looking to better optimize their operations, what advice would you give them to help them stay competitive and future proof their strategies?
I would start with go to business outcomes, not technology. Start with identifying what are the most critical KPIs and business challenges that you have. Ask a basic question: what outcomes would dramatically transform my business, rather than I have this really cool AI, how do I use it? The most successful implementations we see, they always start with business questions, and they're often actually even driven by business leaders with support of their technology teams, of course. The second thing I would say is build data foundations. So what do I mean by that? It's a very tricky thing. Really, it's to inventory and organize your structured data assets, because they fuel your optimization, they fuel your business performance. But do it in a very specific way. If you try to structure and clean all of your data assets, all you're going to be doing for the eternity is just cleaning data.
Yeah.
The best way is to take, again, a business case. That business case will map to particular subsets of data that you need for that business case. That's the data that you clean and you structure, and you go through all of the quality metrics. And that allows you to limit your data cleaning and cleansing and organization to a very specific limited time, so that you can very quickly pivot from that to actually doing the modeling. But if you don't do that, then it's bad data in and bad results out. That's probably number two. Number three, I would say there's a saying, think big and start small
Mm.
and move fast. And I like Simon Sinek's variation of this. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He
Uh,
writes a lot about business
no.
leadership. He has a book called Start with Why. So he very famously for me says, think big, start small, but most of all, start. So this is where I think people get stuck. I can't tell you how many times over my 20-year career in consulting, working for companies like Gemini, KPMG, PwC, I've heard, well, we just want to understand basic reports and we're not ready for AI. There's no reason you cannot do both. So you don't have to start by saying we're going to invest $50 million into AI transformation. So yes, start small, but start. Don't wait until your data is clean. Don't wait until you have all the reporting done correctly, because you'll never will. Like that
Hmm.
never finishes. And what you want is to start, take a small chunk, take a very concrete business problem, and go and attack it with AI. And if you need to fix something about your reporting and your data to get to that business outcome, that's what you got to do instead of just spending time at the foundational level and never getting to the insights that actually drive business outcomes.
Oh, that's fantastic advice. And especially when you just finally do get started, you're going to see the power that AI can do, and then you'll just want to keep going.
And I guess I should say, and I don't want this to be a marketing plug, but you should partner with experts. And even if it's not SparkBeyond, somebody who, again, you trust. I think
Yeah.
that the systems integrators, if they've been in your shop for decades, and oftentimes SIs have such relationships with their clients and they really know you and your business, I think they often will come to us. Many of our partners, that's why they're partners with us, will come and say, okay, we can build a customer churn model from scratch, maybe, but we know it's not going to be as good as the software that you bring that you've been building for a decade for a
Hmm.
particular case in retail banking. So that's where that partnership. So you have a team of experts actually, and of course, your own experts. If you have the resources to hire somebody who is going to help you think strategically, I think choosing the right software or choosing whether you build software or buy software, those are really important critical decisions. So having somebody on staff or a trusted advisor that can guide you in that conversation is really important.
And I do hear that Spark Beyond has a big launch coming up in April. Are you able to give us a little preview of what's coming and how it fits into your larger mission?
Yeah, we're excited about our mid-April launch. We're going to do it at the Optimized AI conference in Atlanta.
Oh,
So
cool.
if you haven't bought your tickets, please go to Optimized AI in Atlanta. Without revealing too much, we're going to introduce some capabilities that are really going to dramatically accelerate the time to value for enterprise optimization. That is the secret mission, if you will, no longer secret.
Yeah.
That actually represents some of the most significant platform advancements we've done in the last few years. We are going to create really a democratization of optimization intelligence. So, what I mean by that is the new offering will make it possible to do advanced optimization not only for large companies, but for mid market companies. And really, that's advancing our fundamental mission that always optimize should be possible for everyone.
Yeah.
And of course, it's an homage to a enhanced collaboration between humans and AI in the sense that our new capabilities are going to revolutionize how businesses actually interact with their optimization intelligence. We're introducing features that actually will allow non-technical users to do machine learning and optimization and run various scenarios through natural language. So you just
Mhm.
type in the question and interact with the optimization engine in real time. And I think that's going to fundamentally change how the business works. And of course, it's going to allow further advancements for integrating existing LLMs that are already in the enterprise. Most, like I said in the beginning, most enterprises already have their large language models. Our platform integrates with any LLM you have, whether it's Llama or Gemini or Anthropic, and any of the hyperscalers from GCP to AWS. And the idea is that if you're an enterprise and you don't have a hyperscaler, you're not in the cloud, and you've never heard of LLM, you're probably way, way behind. So the idea is to come and be part of a broader solution, not to remove any of the existing investments in technology and say, okay, we know how to do this better. That's a little bit of what's coming, but we're excited to demonstrate some of this. We're going to be running demos. We're going to be talking with clients and talking with our systems integration partners. If you are interested and you're in Atlanta or you just happen to be available to come to Atlanta, give me a call and I'll get you a ticket to the show.
I love that. That's so exciting. I can't wait to see how that turns out. And before we wrap up, I always love to ask outside of your work, beyond Spark Beyond, what are some activities or hobbies that you're passionate about?
I have three kids, one wife, and one dog. They keep me pretty busy. Probably the most transformational thing for my family is that I just moved the entire family from Atlanta in the United States to Israel,
Oh,
which is
wow.
what SparkBeyond R&D core is, even though we're in many countries. So that's been a pretty big move for my family.
Wow.
I'm actually writing a lot about the experience of moving. It's my second move. My first immigration was from the former Soviet Union, the Republic of Moldova, which is now its own country in Eastern Europe, to America. So this is my second immigration. And so if you're interested, I write a bunch on Medium about that experience. I guess besides that, I've been blessed to work in more than 30 countries in AI for the last 15 years as being part of a consulting team. And so that really has made me an avid traveler. And I love the travel experience very much. So I try to do that myself and bring the kids into that conversation as well and give them that experience. Travel is the best education. And I think John Dewey said that. And so that's been exciting. And then I do a little bit of literary escapism. I try to spend most of my time reading fiction. I'm really interested in 18th and 19th century Russian and European literature. The last 3 months, I've been obsessed with 20th century Russian poets called Acmeus. And now I'll probably lose some of your audience, but that's what's keeping me busy when I'm not thinking about AI and the family.
Thank you, Alex, for joining us today and sharing your insights on AI-driven operational optimization and how AI is shaping the future of enterprise operations. It's been a fascinating conversation. I'm so glad you joined us.
Thanks so much, Alicia. It's great to be with you.
And if you'd like to learn more about SparkBeyond, you can visit their website at sparkbeyond.com. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AInews.com.